So for today's Friday challenge, we're going to attempt to write a 400 level neuroscience essay. So why? I was reached out to on LinkedIn from a lecturer at a university within New Zealand to see if we could use AI and literature and lectures to create an essay. And the sort of stated goal was to create a artificial intelligence to better inform oneself or to inform students when crafting an essay or help them craft an essay, and to show that AI is a learning tool and not to be feared. And this person, they provided lecture videos, slides, and also scientific papers from which the lectures were created from. So what we did is we took the videos and we transcribed them using a tool called Descript. We used the vision function from ChatGPT-4 to look at the slides, and we created what's called a custom GPT describing the outputs, the limitations, and the reference material that we were able to upload. It looks like this from a scheme perspective, where our custom GPT has images, lectures, and the literature. And the custom GPT can reference it when answering an input. So for our input, we had a essay question as the input. The custom GPT looked at what information it had on hand and was able to produce an essay or an answer. So a custom GPT is through the paid version of ChatGPT, and what you can do is give instructions on how you want it to progress or how to perform its outputs, and you can customize that at a great level of detail. For this, we made it quite general. You could improve on the instructions to make it a lot more thorough or a lot more specific to a form of science, but we keep this at a very, very generalized level. We uploaded a lot of information, especially around the literature reviews and the papers provided. This allowed for a technique called RAG, or retrieval augmented generation, to customize the output. So we use what's called a Bashir loop, or a brainstorm, search, hypothesize, and refine loop to generate better answers. So with the output, we were able to take it, and then the answer itself was just the right answer. How can we make it better? How can we refine that answer? We also use two different types of large language models, or two different types of AIs, between the ChatGPT-4 and Claude 3. Each have their own unique characteristics, sort of like how people have their own points of view. It was able to refine the answer to make it. And we did break down the essay question to smaller chunks because with our initial runs, it did answer the essay question a wee bit too succinctly and a wee bit superficial, but the answer it gave was correct. And we had to flesh it out into more of an essay style answer. So this is the example of the answer it came up with. Points to note is actually APA referencing, which is a big part in academia, from where it's generating its concepts or conclusions from. Results: it produced a passable paper. It was able to suggest areas of study to investigate or to refine the question. It was able to critically analyze multiple papers and reason logically to have a conclusion. And from start to finish, it only took 2 hours to set up and run. It also allowed a tool for people to ask it questions to further explain its conclusions. So as opposed to relying on a lecturer who's of a finite time, this could be a resource that any student could use to further their understanding as opposed to just having the output of an essay. So it actually allows for the scaling of knowledge to a large amount of people, not just those enrolled in that single course. Improvements, ways that we could improve this is create what we call the ACE framework, or the autonomous cognitive entity, to improve the output. What's the mission, vision, and values of a GPT? And how do we change its output to meet what we want today, but also in the future? We can create a more robust reasoning process by increasing our cycle times or our loops. That's also what we call our knowledge flywheel. So how do we know if we're on the right track? How do we know if we're being critical? How are we reasoning through these questions? And if we really wanted to go a wee bit more deeper to create or to generate new hypotheses or to create new science or new experiments, we could actually go through and fine tune a model. This does require a wee bit more money and investment, but what we could do is take all the literature from a certain vertical within, say, neuroscience, and then take all the text and actually train custom model so that the output is everything to do with neuroscience. And it can actually make things a lot faster, or iteration cycle a lot faster for both professors or lecturers and students. By having this resource that can go back and forth in the native way that we learn or we communicate, will allow for a lot greater uptake and a lot more efficient use of people's time. So as always, if you've got any sort of Friday challenges you want me to work with in regards to artificial intelligence, please send them through via links. Just flick me a quick message of what it is and what the outputs you desire, and I'll see if I can work through it and produce more of this content.